taking the bishop on d5 earlier.
You mean if you take first?
No,
but bishop d5 is possible now, no?
Bishop d5, e d5, and then your knight doesn't have an easy escape.
Right, so we'd have to play e6 and give the pawn back.
So there is something very strong here. Bishop e4 must be winning here. That's it. Bishop e4.
h5.
So this is the difference, why he doesn't want to take on d5 first.
There you go. Because now after bishop to e4, the bishop on g6 is under attack.
It's forced to take.
You have to take.
I take this with check. You go here. And now what's extra nice is I take this with check.
9-8-6 just looks
and
like
just
too much. And you're
out.
collecting everybody with the queen landing on the g6 square.
So
let's point that out, though. We don't want to go too fast, by the way, because we got fans watching who may not be following all this. So let's look at that line again because it was so beautiful. Knight takes f7. Looks like the accurate, well, at least the most tempting line, and he's definitely looking at it.
But by the way, is Firuzha going to calculate this all the way out? Isn't he just going to do this intuitively? He's taken quite what
he has opted not to play it and has now played instead the move bishop to e4. So a lot of time spent there, but let me understand. He was on 14 minutes, and now we don't have his time updated on the screen. Let me see if I can find it.
But this is unimpressive because, Maurice, look at this. I'm just going to play h5, and then I can capture on d6. And I mean, it's not the greatest pawn structure on earth, but it's mine, you know.
And by the way, he is down to 657 after what was a massive, at least 7-minute think.
Yeah.
And then to back down and play the move bishop to e4.
Queen h3.
That is indeed stunning. And his opponent has now played the move h5, as you mentioned. What
bishop
a strange
takes d6.
Turn of events here. That could really cost him. Bishop to e4. Let's put it on the screen. Bishop to e4.
Yeah.
And the move, you got it there. Bishop to e4 and the move h5 played. The queen has to move.
Bishop takes g6.
Yeah. And this is the current position.
And this is the current position. And then where to put the queen. And you're talking about the move bishop takes d6 next. There may be a little fracturing of the structure, though, on g6, depending on where your queen goes, no?
Actually, I suddenly wonder, queen h3 might be quite relevant.
Yeah, makes some sense because you're going to be able to take on g6.
Correct.
And
but I think this is okay anyway. Because you take.
G6, you don't play bishop g6 here?
You want to... no, but I have... one sec. I do this. You go bishop takes g6.
Yeah.
F takes g6.
On e5.
Oh, I see. And now if I play queen takes...
Then I just... I accept the double pawn, but you're not going to be better at the end of this.
Queen f7.
So we have swapped everything, and then I can play king f7.
And you're not impressed by the position of at least the structure. Queen h3.
This pawn is a bit weak, though.
On the board.
On b5. So I can come like this and attack this pawn. I can attack it with the knight.
We're seeing this go down. All right, so bishop takes d6. As you mentioned, let's back up to that moment. Bishop takes on d6 played, and Firuzha has some thinking to do here. Now, you're saying he could take on d6 now and then take on g6, is what you like.
No, bishop g6. I'm wondering, can I play fg6? Let's try that.
He has taken.
Can I do this? What's wrong with this?
And... well, there are two moves for white here. If you take on e6 with check, queen f7 does seem to... Is that your response?
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah, queen f7, forcing a trade of queens, it looks like.
And I bring my king out.
And then having to take the bishop.
And then I'm just going to
collect
the pawn like this.
And then you just go pick up that pawn, and yum, yum, here we come. Nothing here for white. All right, let's back up. What if he had taken on d6 and then played...
Hang on a second. What happens if I go bishop f4 here?
And okay, he has taken on g6.
Because then I get to throw this move in.
Check.
Before.
King up.
King up.
And then after takes, he can't quite take the pawn yet. But can he maybe defend his b pawn?
He can, but then I'm going to do this. And you capture this.
Capture.
And I just play rook b7. Isn't this my dream? Maybe rook a5 here is just enough counterplay. Where you'll collect my g7 pawn, but my king will wander off to d5. I'll get this pawn or something like that.
So these lines, the liquidation is my challenge. Seeing all this disappear from the board so quickly, that creates a problem for white as he's trying to maintain some initiative. And by the way, recognize
that... So bishop g6, fg6 has happened, right?
It did happen.
Yeah.
And the challenge,
In fact,
and by the
Queen
way,
E6 check
everything
has
is
happened,
happening.
yeah.
Queen F7 has happened. And
A5.
his opponent looks super confident. 10:58 on the clock. Firouzja down to 5:02. And he can't be too thrilled. And what is he doing here? He has captured on D6
right.
with the pawn, allowing Queen takes F2 with check.
No,
it's illegal.
Yeah, it's
Duh,
pinned.
of course. It's illegal. So that is not possible. If a trade, well, I guess he has to attack the D6 pawn now, maybe.
One idea is this one, rook E8. But then if you take, and what do? You go bishop G5.
And he's trying to maintain that pawn on the board. I get the feeling, though, that this position is just liquidating way too quickly.
Now I can do this, and I actually can throw in this move, rook E8. That's very pretty.
Yeah, it's...
Because if you go D7, trying to bypass it, I go rook takes E1 check,
And bring the rook
and
back.
then I get to go back.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's not working.
All right, I think this game had some excitement, but Firouzja missed his opportunity to play knight takes F7. If
B5.
something was going to be there, playing bishop E4.
In fact, there's another idea, which is I could take here and play rook F6. And either you let me take the D6 pawn, or you step back, but in both cases, I think black is doing fine.
All right, so now you're just finding multiple ways
Yeah.
to equalize for black. I'm not seeing any excitement happening on any other boards, except maybe the board 3 with Maxime Vachier-Lagrave playing against
Knight
Mikhail
F5.
Antipov. And that position, we see a white pawn on F7. So,
He's winning. Well, Maxime is a genius. He's the only one who manages to get such excitement going in a Berlin. Everybody else just gives up and wanders away zombie-like. Maxime manages to get E6 and all sorts of lovely things going.
and we see a fat pawn on F7. Could we just see how he even got it there? Because it's tripled pawns, but forget about that. It's the F pawn, the front F pawn that counts more than anything else.
So let's just take a position like this, very typical Berlin.
Right?
Knight C3, bishop D7, okay, B3, king C8, bishop B2, B6, all this kind of
Normal.
theory, A5.
D takes E6.
And, Maxime actually does this. And the point of this line is that now this is supposed to be an inaccuracy because I do this, because this pawn allows me to do that. But rook Fe1, knight E7, knight
Queen
E2,
C8.
and there it is. So after bishop takes F3,
Revenge Tamram is in losing position. Tactical point advantage. And Arjun Rihayasi, he is in a winning position. He is
Rook
winning
takes
position
C5.
and also position. He definitely win and
Bishop D3.
He is playing the last time. And one more Indian also playing. He was. He seems like
Bishop G5.
This time. And the position is equal. Magnus Carlsen already made a first draw. Now this game
Knight
has huge
BD5.
time advantage. Also a position advantage. Now we got a position advantage also. This
King H8.
Let's move on the game. Games. First round went very long.
Knight D6.
So second round got a delay. Silence in unexpected. Let's see
King
how
F6.
Alhamdulillah is completing his advantage, how stronger players are doing a magic. Last time that another player he fall down into that Ranjitham's ambitious playing fall on into that. Ranjitham's ambitious playing. But Daniel Dubois, I don't think he will fall down into. So no need to fall down. He
H4.
had a completely winning question. If say something happened in Niagara's first game.
Knight
The first
D6.
one. That's very first time. Position also winning for Magnus. So now this round he will win. Arrange random in using position. Okay.
Knight B4.
And now,
Queen B4.
all right, tricky business trying to take the pawn would have lost your queen. Well,
Knight
would have been
F5.
at least weird. That knight on F5 is looking way too good now.
Knight
He's about to
B6.
kill it.
Knight E7 check. Okay. King H8. And Queen F4.
Wow. And now he played what? Queen takes on B2? No, he just
He went
developed,
Bishop E6. He went check.
forcing the king to
Captured
move.
the bishop, which was defending that one. And then hammered this in.
And what happened next? Takes?
He took.
I mean, is it
It
all
looks
that
like,
clear what's going on?
No, it isn't. It looks like black has enough.
And
some kind of
this
play,
is
but
like
now
a
it's huge.
straight exchange sack with a quiet knight e4 move.
I guess he's claiming that this knight is misplaced, and I mean it's
Queen
two bishops.
E7.
At some point, this one is going to land here, and then everybody's pointing at the black king. So
Is it that easy?
it shouldn't be, but I'm threatening. I have two threats. One is knight f6 check here. The other threat is queen e6 and knight d6. So I'll just make some move like this, and then I think this is the
Rook
move which
A8.
is very strong.
And he's just dominating those light squares.
Correct.
Wow, that's a beautiful exchange sack.
So
Positional exchange
hang on,
sack.
there seems to be some way for black to play. What could it be?
Well, I don't think were options. He actually did play knight to d5 in this position. He has only 31 seconds left to Magnus's 9 minutes. So a fantastic sacrifice by Magnus, an intuitive sacrifice to be sure. It didn't look like there was concrete calculation involved. He just decided, I can sack an exchange. I'm Magnus Carlsen. I got squares. I'm going to make you suffer. And it looks like it's what's happening because knight to e4 was met by knight to d5. I don't know if you found a move while I was talking, but knight to d5, queen e6 check, king
And
over.
knight d6 is going to happen.
And now knight d6 did happen, and now he played knight to b4, and hoping to get rid of this bishop. And Magnus has now played queen to e7, it looks like. I believe that's the move, queen forward. So yes, queen
Rook
e7,
F8.
threatening the rook. And man, I'm not really feeling great for black on that king side. Looks like a knight might hop back to f5 in some position.
Rook A8.
As you mentioned, the bishop to e5, all that looks like danger, Will Robinson.
Yes, I remember this particular idea, putting a knight on d6, queen on e7 from Kasparov Kramnik in London. Game 10. The one that he won. I think Kasparov simply missed that. The queen could go back to e7. And then it was game over. So
This
nice
looks like
idea.
game over as well, by the way.
If you
Too
go
much
king
of an attack.
g8, I think bishop f5 is already going to be hard to meet. Yeah, bishop's coming to e6. So this rook is going to run somewhere random. It's hard to watch.
It's a good situation if you leave it right there for a moment to look at the idea of splitting the board in half, right? Because you see the queen on b2, the knight on b4. That side of the board is just random pieces.
Yeah.
Well, meantime, white is assaulting
Rook
the black
A8.
king. Bishop e5 could come at any moment. Knight here, knight f7 check and take on h6 is even something Magnus can consider. So it's just an embarrassment of riches as his opponent has just about 13 seconds left on the clock. Magnus is going to clean this one
I can
up.
rub it in with queen takes b7. Your rook goes back. I chase it again. You go back again if I want.
Right, because rook g8 is not playable because the knight
No.
f7 mate. So that is nasty. Certainly looking like Magnus is now going to collect his first win, and he's trying to figure it out. And he did it. He's, as you said,
G
rubbing his
takes
face.
h6.
Why not just grab a pawn and put it back? You former world champions seem to think alike, as that pawn was just a delectable morsel. We can show it on
Queen
this board
takes
here.
F6.
Queen takes B7,
Yeah.
Rook F8, and Queen back.
Back. I'm basically saying I can have the same position. With
Out at
extra
the same
pawn, yeah.
position, you down a pawn, and then I'll go hunt you down. And it looks like all this did take place. I don't know
Knight takes
what
D3.
would be wrong with checking on F7 and taking on H6 with check.
King
Maybe
G8.
it's just not as much as he could get. He's looking for more.
It's winning as well.
King
but
H8.
it's just, I
Queen
think,
F6
what do you
check.
do? You have to take this. And then do you see
King
some
G8.
bishop C4? I guess I can.
C takes D3.
Or am I getting mated?
Bishop E5.
Bishop E5, I can go Queen C1,
check
Queen
and
G5.
Queen G5. That does.
Which, by the way, is still winning. Somehow.
How do you win this? Queen E6 and F4 maybe?
Queen E6, you have to go King F8.
And what do you do about F4?
F4, and I'm kind of running out of squares, aren't I?
Arjun won this game.
King D4.
He defeated Golan. Raghunandan
King E6. King
is in time
F3.
pressure. Position also equal. Which draw is last?
Rook E1.
Daniel to go. This question is not a playable question. Other Indian players are not playing within the top 30 goals. Magnus Carlsen,
Queen H3. C takes D3.
His opening designs.
Queen H3.
Number 2.
Queen H3.
Not only he has less time, also his position also.
On time, he's got only 47 minutes left, seconds left.
This Caruana.
Yeah, Fabian.
Rook F8.
I also heard that Dubov has a very interesting game, but I agree with you that this game is super important. Could we get to the Dubov position really quickly? I think that's what I heard.
Yeah,
my director
Dubov
say.
beat Arvind Chitambro. Wow, oh, I see what you mean.
Bishop
Yikes.
H3.
Look at that knight on E6.
Shall we see the game? This was a cat.
Well, let's
Raghunandan seems like he's expecting some magic. Now let's see what will happen in the game. Anand is analyzing arranged third game here. In the main, let's listen Anand.
Position like this.
Bishop
He's made
G4.
a concession, I think. Okay, so he did this. Dubov put pressure like this. B takes C4.
look
Knight
at that
B4.
center. My goodness.
Look at that center. Yeah.
Rook E1.
And white gets the dominant pawn on D5.
Yikes.
And
This one.
it might not be all that exciting anyway, because the position is so overwhelming.
Well, wait. That move was very important. The move E5 because knight takes. On
Yes, but then the pin is going to be
D5
overwhelming.
creates
I
his
think,
pin.
what is it? Knight
and some kind of knight
C4,
move,
knight F1, maybe knight E4 is just good enough. Yeah.
and it's a difficult pin to break. It looks like. But what if I play Bishop E7 here, or Bishop E6 even? No, I mean to put something on to
Yeah,
guard
so
the knight.
Bishop E6, maybe knight C3.
Oh, just pure torture. I can't get out of this pin.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And then the knight on F3 is going to move. So fantastic. That's a big move. That was the moment of the game because if the pawns start
Yeah.
rolling,
I mean,
you're
if
in
you
trouble.
do this, white could play D6 and white is a piece up because that bishop isn't moving.
Exactly.
So,
That was a giant
in
moment
fact,
to be able to play
he even
E5.
found other things to do.
Wow, even braver. And now the blast of a breakthrough. And the
And
queen
that's
had
it.
to move. And there
You're
came
getting destroyed in the light squares.
flood of white pieces. Let's see the finish.
So he took, captured, knight G3,
And here comes the light squared bishop.
and
Park number
everybody is
one.
getting pinned.
Park number 2. Number
And
3.
that's it, yeah.
Massacre on the E6 square. And he just continued. Nice
That's
little
it.
trade, and that was that.
That's it.
Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful game by Daniel Dubov there. Great victory indeed. Fantastic chess. Definitely instructive. Those of you who want to go over that game slowly, that's the kind of game you want to win. All right, let's jump to the game with Caruana and Murzin.
I think this is turning in favor of Fabi, right?
Not at all.
I mean,
Fabi
with
is
the-
in deep trouble with the black pieces. He is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Fabi's worse here. And look at those white pawns marching down the board as we see the young Murzin
Rook
not having
E1.
any respect for his elder and number 2 player in the world. And Fabi is in deep trouble trying to protect his position. Queen back to c8 right now and hoping to use this pin against the f-pawn. As we see, the queens are opposed to each other. But it does look horrible for black. He does have a little bit of annoyances with the rook sitting on a2 and the knight on e2. But it feels like there must be something here for white. Something to at least continue the squeeze in this position.
Yeah. I wonder what happens for H5.
E4.
Wait, can I win? If I take on g6 here,
Yeah, I thought
Oh,
of that.
you
but
have- you
there's
have
a
knight
queen
G3
takes
check at the end.
H3 and
Gotcha.
knight G3, yeah.
that's a very important point. Yes, knight.
So I'll just show it to the audience,
Takes,
and then this. Well, it's messy enough that
Yeah, we
you
don't,
don't really want to do
That's
that.
a very important point. So how do we deal?
Rook
Perhaps
E3.
just a build-up. Put rook d3 so that the square gets off the menu, and then you're threatening fg6.
And looks like he did play a.
Seems like Caruana is losing. Well, he's a very strong player. He's
Bishop E5.
against Murshid Maladar. I think he's a Russian player.
Was
And-
that fg5? My God.
He played hg5, and it's just you look at the bishops. both
Bishop
of them
takes E4.
Look bad, but the white bishop seems to be a healthier piece than the black bishop. The knight on d5 though looks like a monster. The black's pieces look discoordinated. The rook on a2, the knight on e2. Although maybe something
Rook
could happen
FA7.
there, but it does look as though those pawns are really the story of the position. The knight on d5 and those kingside pawns.
Yes, I mean, pull either of those pawns back, pull that pawn on g5 back 2 squares or something, and the evaluation improves for black. It's that pawn on f5 which is making all the difference, I think. Okay, so Fabi started.
Try to create some chaos.
But what about f6 here? Could I go f6?
F6
Because you would
take
have
back
to
with the
take,
rook. Exactly.
and then I take with the rook, and then it's game over, isn't it?
It does
Because
look
that bishop
Knight
is
C3.
correct as well, and when it goes somewhere,
He
in fact,
did
you might
not-
as well give the bishop because it's doing nothing.
It's doing nothing, and yeah, and the
And then I'm
e-pawn is
threatening to
hanging.
take on e4.
No, this looks crushing, but he
Yeah.
didn't play.
I don't think Caruana can escape. Let's see what Caruana is doing.
Is very happy to bring that thing out. It's still
King
winning.
G5.
Still horrible.
I mean,
King
maybe I could
G5.
just play bishop takes e4 or something here.
Still, the position is equal.
We are
Caruana
seeing a
still
potential-
Oh, I
is, against-
think I could already start.
He's expecting
Can I take out
some
this one?
mistake from his
Queen
opponent.
g4.
As
Knight
you
F8.
ruminate on that, it looks as though Caruana down to 24 seconds, his opponent with 103, and he has played
Bishop
bishop
E8
takes
check.
on e4
Okay.
in the position, and he has just simply stolen a pawn right from the middle of the board,
Yeah.
and the number 2 player in the world and in this tournament is now in deep trouble as his position is terrible. He's played rook to a7, connecting rooks, but that doesn't seem to have any meaning necessarily in this position. He's trying to figure out how to maybe play rook h2 in some kind of weird universe.
Or try rook a1, but the problem is that rook on a7 is doing double duty. It's covering the e7 square still, where a fork
Right.
can land.
Right.
So this rook can't do anything very exciting on the a file because it will still be required to stop this.
So can the queen move? The white queen seems to be the whole crux of the problem here. Can it find a really comfortable square somewhere maybe h6 or he plays to g4.
G4 is also
He found
absolutely-
g4 as the move, although I'm still under this pin. That's very annoying. But queen g4 and now knight to c3 played. I smell an exchange sack somewhere, but maybe I'm just knight f6 doesn't do anything yet. It looks like so. Fabi just trying to keep this position as confusing as possible, but he is definitely in trouble. But his opponent has now dropped under him on the clock. He's at 19 seconds to Caruana's 26. He had such a big lead, but he does
gone
not
rook
know.
h3.
He's played rook h3, and it looks like that may have let a little bit of the rope go and give Fabiano a bit of a chance.
His opponent is Volodar is messing up slightly. Okay, king h8 seems to have dropped the position right back in white's favor. I guess g6 is just a good move to have throw in, right?
And it's been thrown in. In fact, both players now with 20 seconds. Fabi in deep trouble, hoping his opponent will not know what to do.
King b6.
Will somehow blunder in this position as we see g6 on the board. Caruana in big trouble, down now to 13 seconds, 12 seconds, counting down, and he has played what looks like the move rook to a1.
A4.
Wait, Nick, did he play that?
He played rook a1, I
He
think.
did play rook to a1, it looks like. And
But then there's a problem on h7. How is he going to meet this? So let me take on a1, you take on a1, I go king g2. Just play the
and
fast.
hesitation on his part.
But he's got 20 seconds.
But
so
he's
that's
got enough
fine.
time, and the capture has
and now
happened,
the
as you
king-
mentioned.
b4.
But now h7 is attacked.
And king g2
And he's gone back.
Rook has gone back. So a trade, mutual trade there that didn't seem to benefit black too much. There's got to be a tactic here. I mean, there's no way.
What
There's
about queen h4?
so many good pieces in the sector, and Caruana in big trouble
takes a3.
with his king under heavy fire. Rook takes
Knight takes
a7
a3
has
check.
been played, trading
King
off
b4.
this piece, and it looks like, well, first of all, he has to take, right? He took.
Yeah, and then g7. So
then
that's fine.
g7.
No, why- it must be still winning, but I thought he might find something
Knight b1.
more elegant. But
And now what to do here, taking the pawn looks like suicide.
well, it's a double check, right? f6 check. Everybody's being checked.
Oh, yes.
So that's a cute one. King h7,
So,
f6
so he's won a
is
pawn.
over.
Yes, this check wins the queen.
So how does he?
He has played what looks like queen to a8,
Oh, he's
or he traded on e4
yeah, he
and then
traded.
played queen to a8, and somehow he's still alive. I mean, you've got to kill these guys 3 or 4 times, and this last move trying to confuse matters, but his opponent playing what looks like queen to
King c4.
a very interesting, let me just make sure no danger happens to me at all.
Yeah, but it just must be. Maybe e2 would have been better than c2.
And now king boldly capturing on 8-7. So let me grab this
D5.
pawn back. He's down a pawn, though, is black. Full pawn down with what
But
looks like
why-
a bad position as well.
He's advanced his king up because he cannot allow queen g8 with check. Why didn't I just wait for the board to load? That's it.
And now queen down to a1, looking to harass the white king somehow. This is the kind of confusion that you can throw in and somehow get a draw out of it, as your opponent can't figure out exactly what to do when they think they should be winning. So queen a1 on the board, and again, white trying to figure out what to do has brought his knight back to e3 to stop queen f1 check. If you could play that, knight e3 to stop queen f1 check, but queen h1 check.
But
is
then
a-
queen h1 check, I have queen g2, and you then lack the check on d1. So that was his plan. I think knight e3 is designed against queen h1. The question is, does he have another square?
And a king g7 looks like it was played. King g7 on the
Yeah,
board.
king
and
g7 is
now,
on the board.
did we see queen d1 get played? He's offering a queen trade, which makes actually quite a bit of sense. Get rid of the queens and bring the king up into the game. You could be winning that ending. Fabi's not trading queens. That's
He's
not
gone to
going to happen.
c3, has he? Yeah, so
Queen
king
C3
e4, king
played?
e4. Yeah, now this is nice.
King e4. Look at the
Because
Knight
intensity.
the king
C3
will be
check.
safer on
King
d5
D6.
than it is on
King E6.
f3.
Maybe even e6.
Yeah,
if you can get
if
it all
if
the way
could,
down
if
there.
you could slip it there.
This one is just a
Yeah.
barn burner as the
And
king
now,
is brought back to f8.
queen d3, and then
Queen d4.
see what can be done. Queen
There you
d3.
go.
Yeah, he's
Queen
gone
to
queen
D3.
d3. That's fine.
C takes
Playing
d4.
like a world champion right now. What a game. What a titanic struggle.
What has he gone? He's gone to c1, and now
Then again,
Knight
he will
D5.
blunder. Oh my god. But Pragananda still is playing with equal position.
King f7.
And time wise, oh my god, he got 2 pawns. His opponent got only 1 pawn.
King e5.
He's trying to squeeze his opponent. Let's see that. One game seems like that's very interesting.
King g7. Knight d3.
That Motion is completely winning.
Bishop D8.
Here also two pawn versus one pawn, but the
B5.
situation is entirely different.
King H6.
In Pragnata game, that the situation is entirely different than this. Now Barbiana Caruana can resign, but she is playing.
F6.
Yeah, now he need to resign. He needs to resign. Last position here, Caruana. Mat number 2. David Swartz.
King D6.
Pragnata is trying to do some magic. He trapped his opponent knight, but
Knight B6.
according to engine, this is a completely equal question.
Knight D2.
But Pragnata is trying to create some magic.
Knight E7.
And the knight went back. One could look at that.
Knight E4.
Currently, there are two pawns
Knight C6 check.
and one pawn.
King D6. Knight D4. King F4. Knight D4.
But it's fighting very hard, even though the question is winning.
G4.
He moved the pawn forward.
King G7. Knight C5. King E4. Knight C6.
Arrange the pawn. Very last. After you can see one. No, Pragnata is going to make a draw seems right.
Knight
And he
D3.
got us right about either side in plus side.
Knight D8. King D5. Knight E5.
Check knight c.
King e4. King e4. Knight e6. Knight d3.
He's just playing against that knight.
Knight c7. Knight b4. Knight d5 check. King g7. Knight c5.
But managed to defeat him, defeat his opponent, then it's a kind of fantastic in the game. But this is a question. He won't lose the game. He got extra long. Let's say he's pressing. I think because of drug next time for round three of the players are going to wait. For round two are
Knight
delayed,
f4.
the delay his game.
Knight d7 check.
His game went long. I started to like women's kind of games.
King e6. Knight c5 check. King d6. Knight f6.
Yeah, now game
g5. Knight g4. King e7.
Now knight e5, knight f3, then yeah, knight e3, knight f5 also very dangerous. So Brugge cannot make any progress. He is trying to press his opponent, but the Delshan, Muradiabadi, which country player is he? He is from USA.
Knight
Let's see
h2.
what that is. He'll go to e3, but he went to h2. Yeah, finally Anand is analyzing Brugge's game.
Knight e6 check.
Oh, it's check. Mm,
Knight f4.
Wow. Brugge is winning now. Oh my god, what a question.
Knight takes
Wow, it's
g6.
winning, completely winning. Pragananda is completely winning. Wow. Actually, some more vision on this.
King f7 is very unpleasant.
Right, knight f6.
So the
check
knight needs to come to e5 check whenever that happens.
Right, but you're
so
a
the
little
knight
bit of a
can't.
zugzwang.
Yeah. So king e7. What can happen here? Maybe this. Yeah, that seems to be reasonable because you can't kick my knight out easily.
Right.
And incidentally, I'm threatening to come here by a different route, but at
Yeah,
the same time,
exactly.
stopping your king going to that square. And that seems to be the key.
All right, will he find it? He has 1 minute and 2 seconds left on the clock, it looks like. And he's still in thought, though. Here's the moment. This is the moment when we're checking to see what it will. And he did play.
He's
the
got
move.
knight h2. So
Knight
now he's
H2.
lost. Knight f.
He
He
knight
went the
f6.
wrong way under pressure instead of finding knight to e5,
It's
and now
fantastic.
Wait,
he's
why is it so strong?
Right.
If I go
He
knight
was
e6 check, you go king
pressing, and
g8.
finally he won the game.
What,
can't
what
I
am I
play
missing?
king
f6 and I go knight
F6, you play
f3.
knight
So even though it's a
f3.
theoretical
So
in
what
the
is
game,
the mysterious
his
move? Oh, knight
opponent,
d4 is winning.
even though it was a theoretical end game, his opponent didn't succeed.
Get back. He played king f6 and knight to f. Whoa. Knight to
Oh, knight to f4. That's brilliant because now when the knight moves, I give check in g6, and that seems
the
to be
pawn
and
just
the pawn
goes.
squares. Okay, okay.
That is clean. That is something to overlook. The pawn is just going to
That
go.
is brilliant. Yeah.
Wow. Your knight cannot
For him to
get back
calculate
in
all
time.
that with seconds, I mean,
Incredible. What a way to win this game. Knight e7 and g6.
Yeah, knight
He is
H2 was a
busted
blunder.
on arrival. The knight has no reasonable square. Knight f3 was so.
Knight
H2 was a
H2.
blunder. He could go to E3.
Knight e3.
Because he went to knight H2.
Knight
now
H2.
he went to knight H.
Knight e3. Knight e6 check. Knight takes h4.
Knight H4 again, a mistake.
we're at 91.
You play 91 moves and you make the move knight h2 instead of knight e5 and have to lose this game.
Yep.
This could just destroy your whole tournament. You just psychologically thinking, how are you kidding me? And he has resigned,
He has resigned,
in this
yeah.
position. What a devastating blow to lose that game. And so I believe that is the last game, and we should have all the results
Okay,
from
can I
that
just
round.
throw in one more anecdote?
Please.
So Maxim Dlugy played Vasily Ivanchuk, who's his house guest. So I think Vasily is now going to have a place to stay tonight because Vasily beat Maxim. Anyway, more to the point, we all played in the World Junior in 1985. So old thing. Anyway, it's nice that they're staying together. But Maxim said he was quite even in the training games, and he was feeling very optimistic. But I think Vasily
It is Vasily Ivanchuk
kind of
after all.
spoiled it a bit today for Maxim. Anyway.
Indeed. Well, we get some results. Maybe I think we did have some results before.
Again, very much business indeed. It's not coins based, I think.
'84. This year brings together 112 participants from 36 nations, promising a thrilling competition. Among the strong field, there are the current Women's World Chess Champion Ju Wenjun and reigning Women's Rapid Chess Champion Anastasia Bodnaruk.
It's in 15 minutes.
Few
plus
minutes
10
before the
seconds.
start of the first round, the players are gearing up to the game. It's time to start the show. In recent years, a lot of companies and businesses are investing in chess, and Freedom Holding Corp is one of the leaders in organizing some of the FIDE events and supporting FIDE. What is the inspiration for you and for your company to be supportive to chess?
I think it's chess is a great club with a great respect paid by a lot of our customers, counterparts, by a lot of finance community, and I believe that even from a financial standpoint, it's one of the most efficient sport, because it's still not such big competition like in football, and that's a great selection of players and fans, and for us, New York is also very important city, because we're a member of New York Stock Exchange. We are listed on NASDAQ, and we are quite unique company from Central Asia to have a license here, to be listed here, and we definitely believe that it's a great opportunity to leverage our brand presence through this partnership.
You mentioned about New York. We know that we are right now at Wall Street, very close to your company's office. So what is the plan for the future in the market of US?
I believe that we definitely can contribute our knowledge and technology, because we built a lot of great fintech products in brokerage, banking, and insurance business, and I believe that sooner or later we will be able to leverage this technology also in US markets, and also deliver some digital banking experience to people in the United States.
And the final question, what is your personal goal to achieve in the world of chess?
For me, it's a great honor to be part of organizing community, to support my national federation, and actually prove that we have a great pool of talents, of great people from Central Asia who can deliver great products and be competitive globally in finance and in chess both. And I also believe that as a president of World School Chess Federation, we can make this game more popular for kids all over the world, and contribute to the global sustainability agenda. And I really believe that in this world of TikTok, it's very important to actually to think before you move, to be able to concentrate, to better learn how your mind is actually operating, and the chess is a great solution for that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Valentina Gunina with us today. She won her first game. Valentina, tell us about your game.
Hi, prepared this variation with coach just before this round, yeah, and he was searching a lot, with drawing a lot, and yeah, so I was well prepared and didn't spend so much time, and she was thinking and thinking. Yeah, tomorrow morning I will have analysis with my coach, so probably I will get some. I will analyze games, and probably I did some mistakes, but I'm not sure. Yeah, because yeah, I play good in this game.
So you count on this win because of the good preparation you had with your coach.
Yeah. Sometimes because I'm talking about my illness, because it's important for me, and people think sometimes that I don't do anything because because of this situation. But yeah, we are working a lot with coach, and because of my kind of sponsor, we had 4 training camps.
Wow! Tell us about that. Tell us about that. What is the very often people are asking, what is there a special preparation for when you're going to Rapid and Blitz tournaments? If you can share some details from your preparations.
Yeah, you know, because it's still so hard to play classical for me because of the health. Yeah, we are focusing to play Rapid and Blitz, but okay, it's some general opinions and so on, so I can use for every kind of chess, let's say this. Yeah, but my coach he's also my friend, and yeah, he's for example, when I go to hospital and I came home at evenings, and I want to to spend my day with my coach. I mean, just to prepare something and so on. Yeah, and yeah, he's supporting me, and I want to say thanks to Arkady, their coach, because this platform online. Yeah, from FIDE, yeah, it's really helping. And first of all, I earn a lot of money. I earn a lot of money there, and yeah, because I won a lot. Yeah, and this so. So serious preparation because I play, analyze after with my coach and so on. So I have a lot of experience because of this platform and so on. And yeah, but
I have a question. You look very happy. You look very energetic. If you can give us a little bit of updates of your health, because you are open about your health situation. If you can tell us, how are you now?
yeah, I'm better. I'm much better, and you can see that I'm. By the way, I'm always smiling, even if it's not okay. But yeah, now people tell me that I'm like a shining because I understand the different. Like you cannot move, and you cannot do a lot of stuff. And when you are full of energy, and you can do a lot of stuff. And I also have inspiring. Of people like me on the yes, this is Piglet because a close friend of mine and my family call me Piglet, and this is project of my teams. Yeah, and guys created this nice kind Piglet. Yeah, and this is also about my story, about my illness, and that I want to inspire a lot of people like me and others that you have to fight and just to do your best and everything will be fine.
Oh, wow, this is amazing, and you carry this with you as a lucky charm.
First of all, I forgot it at home, and I was lucky that Polina had a latest flight after me. So I asked her, "Can you bring it?" Because I just forgot. yeah.
It's very important for you. I see that.
Yeah, and yeah, because I want to show like people like me who has serious illness, disease, that it's sometimes you want to die, and because you cannot, you don't want to move and don't want to do anything because yes, it's really hard. But I tell that okay, you have to pass one day, and at the morning it will be better and better and better. And some people already ask me about what to do and how to behave with this illness and so on. So, yeah.
You're beating it, absolutely. And you're beating also your opponents on the board. I saw some players are already leaving. Maybe the second round starts. So best of the luck to you. And we talk later.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Chess is more than just a game. It's a tool for empowerment, connection and transformation. In 2025, FIDE is proud to launch the Year of Social Chess. We believe in the power of chess to bring about positive change from therapy and education to rehabilitation and inclusion. Social chess is our way to build a better world. The Year of Social Chess will introduce groundbreaking initiatives across the globe. Monthly themes will address critical social challenges: chess for protection in refugee camps, chess for cognitive health among the elderly, and even chess for addiction recovery. Through this initiative, we are mobilizing communities, conducting research, and creating opportunities for all to experience the joy and impact of chess. Join us for online chess events, global conferences, and even a documentary film festival that will showcase the power of social chess. Let's make 2025 a year to remember. The Year of Social Chess is here. Let's change the world, one move at a time.
This December, the world's top chess minds clash in the heart of New York City at the FIDE World Rapid and Blitz Championship. Legendary grandmasters who will light up Wall Street with their speed and skill. Witness world number one Magnus Carlsen defend his title against a field of titans. Rapid and Blitz, chess in its most thrilling form. Unpredictable and unforgettable. Fast moves, tactics and blunders, and moments that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Be part of this electrifying experience. Witness the pinnacle of chess excitement.
Hello and welcome back to the FIDE Rapid and Blitz World Championships held here in New York City. And we are in round 3 at the moment. We've had 2 exciting rounds so far. Miro, the action is everywhere. I mean, you can't look left, look right, look up, look down, and not see some exciting games being played.
Well, absolutely. And yeah, you've seen me, Maurice. I wasn't in the studio, but you've seen me sitting in this spectators area and I was watching every minute, literally. Yeah, that is an absolutely amazing event.
It was great fun, of course, having Vishwanathan Anand take your place for a moment. I mean, that's got to feel good. If you're going to sit out, have a legend like Anand sit in your place.
Absolutely. Well, you guys covered really a lot of games, but obviously with such a field, with such a lot of games going, something's going to be missing. Yeah, but I was really surprised to find out that Hikaru didn't win his game 1, right? So now he's back on track with 1.5. Wesley So, however, lost his second game. So it's a rough start for Wesley So, I believe, draw in first round and then a loss in round 2.
Doesn't matter how big you are, huh? You can
absolutely,
get knocked down.
not all the favorites getting it smoothly. Yeah.
Let's see pairings for the women's section. We do believe we have the pairings for round 3, and so far, Ju In-jun has been just a dominant force. The women's world champion, she's the favorite, and looking like it there, we see that she has the black pieces in this round against Irene Sukandar. And the Chinese women, they tend to get it done. We see there Tan Zhangji also doing her business, but playing against a countrywoman there in Yusin Song. And we see 2 countrywomen, Begim Tokyo-Genova, who we have seen compete at the very highest level in the U.S. Women's Championship, playing against young Alice Lee. They both did extremely well at the Olympiad, playing as teammates, and now we see them playing against each other. And Carissa Yip, I see there as well, who also played on the U.S. Women's Olympiad team, playing on board 5. Great big matchup. I jumped over on board 4. Anne Mozichuk against Polina Shivalova. So definitely some great matchups. We did see Valentina Gunina get interviewed by a 4th member of our broadcast, Keti Sashalashvili, and Valentina mentioned that she had been battling her own disorder, a bit of a challenge, personal challenge for her, but she absolutely did not want to miss this spectacular event. It just goes to show how this tournament brings out all the players regardless of their situations.
Right, and she is the defending champion in Rapid, so I believe, of course, it is very important to show up.
Big deal to want to be here, and so we have some great players, some great results. We're just starting, folks. Only 2 rounds in the books. And clearly, it's a sort of event where it doesn't matter if you do poorly at the very beginning. You can start picking up some momentum.
D4.
Win or lose, there's so many rounds to go that you just have to have that resiliency. And resiliency is a core quality of a top chess player, without any question about it. If you can't bounce back, you may as well stop playing chess.
Well, or you have to be Magnus and win a game after game after game, so you don't have to.
Well, and even he, by the way, drew his first game, so he is looking to bounce back as
Knight
well.
F6.
And here we have his game beginning against one Daniel Dubov.
Knight
This,
C3.
is that who he's playing?
No, mine.
No, he's not. No, I thought it was. It looks like, but no, it is not who he's playing in this round. Let's get the
Grandmaster
correct.
Gleb Dudin. So you were almost right on the family name.
He takes D5.
Accidentally. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get the pairings for round 3
That'd be great.
in the open section. And
Bishop E7.
you know, Magnus, whoever he plays, he's looking to win. But we'll pop up those pairings in a moment as Magnus is playing against
H6.
Gleb Dudin from Hungary. Right there, kind of tricked us, our director, right there. Bringing up.
So hang on a second. So
Bishop
Magnus, even though
H4.
he's on board 1, he's not on 2 out of 2. And then Fabi has lost. So kind of the real leaders, people on 2 out of 2 and 2 wins after 2 games are
Bishop
MVL,
G4.
starting with MVL. So he's the highest seed on perfect score. So it's
That
MVL.
That is correct.
And then it's Levon Aroni, and it's almost like this, you know, St. Louis chess tournaments from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, same names.
I will tell you, it is actually pretty shocking what you just said, as I think our pairings will go up shortly. Look
Knight
at
GE2.
this. After board 2 with Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, as you mentioned, on a perfect score, you see USA. It's like, was the fixes on? The USA on board 3 in Aronian, playing against a former countryman in Andreassian. Then you see Lenderman, also of the USA, playing against Abdusatorov. Dominguez playing against one Hans Niemann, who we haven't spoken about this entire time. So 2 players from the USA. Then on the next board, Sam Shanklin playing against Yu Yang Yi. And then the following board, Sam Sevian with the black pieces. What the heck?
Knight
So far,
BD7.
after only 2 rounds, the players from the US are showing their mettle. Only one, Fabiano Caruana, is not doing so well. And by the way, I don't see Hikaru Nakamura's name on the top 15 either, although at the bottom of this screen, we do see Daniel Naroditsky, Grandmaster, playing against one Tani Adewumi, the remarkable story of the Nigerian refugee who came to the U.S. and turned him and his family's life completely around by winning a big tournament where he got a lot of support after that, now an international master, and I believe a last-second entry into this competition. So a lot of USA players showing that they absolutely belong, not just in terms of being the host country, but also
absolutely.
getting the results
Queen
done as well.
C2.
Yeah, so we only have 15 boards,
G5.
and therefore we do not see Hikaru Nakamura, as well as Jan
C6.
Nepomniachtchi, as well as Wei Yi, all of them having 1.5 out of 2.
All right, again, it's just about so many players in this tournament, and we will now jump back to board 1 and just follow Magnus a little bit in what is a very sharp position. Take us through this opening moves, because this one is a clear indicator that Magnus is looking to keep on winning his games,
Knight
even if he has to
C1.
take a few risks.
Right, yeah. Well, however, he failed to do so in round 1 with black, pardon. Right, so he is still looking for his first win with the black pieces, and once again, his opponent choosing the, what you would call it, the Carlsbad structure to play the bishop g5, e3, very classical. Puts some additional pressure on Magnus, that Magnus is the one who has to invent something.
And maybe a little bit of a risk-taking there.
Knight H5.
And if we could pull up your board so we can see the position, and take us through these next few moves.
Right, so h6, bishop h4, bishop g4 already seems like something not very usual. Knight g2, e2. That's, have no real knowledge on this one. Like, all moves look familiar, but in combination, it's something very strange. Queen to c2 and g5, played pretty quickly by Magnus. Computer, by the way, is not very happy with this one. Knight to c1 and knight to h5. Very healthy, very healthy background for this kind of play. You do want to get a pair of bishops, but how about having g7, g5 played? You cannot undo such things, right? I mean, you put the piece on the wrong square, you can move it
Bishop
and
D3.
return back to normality. g5, it's kind of a
H
permanent
takes
damage.
G3.
So I would be looking for, like say, play bishop d3, play bishop f5, control the f5 square as well as I can.
As soon as you said it, it was done by Gleb, and Magnus instantly took the bishop off of the g3 square and
I
of course,
presume
capturing back
h-pawn
with the
captures,
h-pawn.
yeah.
And we have this very dynamic position on the board. Certainly, as you mentioned, those weaknesses, the pawn on g5 is a permanent weakness, but Magnus is used to navigating such things. So we'll see how he handles that. We're still just very much in the opening. But you did mention that Maxim Vachier-Lagrave is leading the tournament. He's got 2 wins, at least co-leader in the tournament with 2 wins. Let's take a look at board 2 to see how he is doing. This position, I would say, we're not going to stay on too long. As Maxim against Daniel Dayak, or Bogdan Daniel Dayak, actually, is his name. So we got 2 players with 3 names playing against each other.
Yeah, and
Daniel,
he was a part of Crunch's tour as
well.
well,
Yes,
right?
he's a Romanian one of the top players in Romania. Maybe now is the top player, actually, from Romania. But we see here a position where not much, a lot of symmetry, a lot of trades already. I would say not that impressive a game that's going to keep our attention for very long.
Very solid from MVL. Unlikely, unlikely to see any fireworks.
There's not much
Bishop
happening
f5.
there for sure. So starting to try to look at some other games. I'm intrigued by the game on board 7, Arjun Erigaisi against Sam Sevian. That game has some fire happening already with, again, we see this move g5 on the board very early on. Sam Sevian showing no fear against, is he still 2,800? He keeps going over and under his Erigaisi, 28 or not. He's definitely crossed that line for sure. I think he may actually currently be classically rated at 2,800, but Sam Sevian is a very tough customer. Very good, by the way, at Rapid and Blitz. So this one is an exciting matchup between 2 young-ish players, and Queen f6 played. And every time I see somebody play Rapid or Blitz and they get up from the board,
That's shocking, right?
You ain't got much time. You're going to have to come back to the board after the guy moves, and you're just walking away. By the way, this move threatens mate. Those who don't know, that's a mate in one threat.
That's one powerful threat in the game of chess, which is a checkmate in 1.
Pay attention, because mate is threatened. At the moment, Black does have the 2 bishops, particularly that bishop sitting on the b4 square. And by the way, just humor me for a second. What the heck is Queen a4 check?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But once again, since there is a threat of a checkmate, I guess a boring c7, c6 is the answer, because the bishop cannot be captured. It will be a checkmate. It's just a checkmate in 2.
Let's show it.
So that's queen f2 and king d1, queen d2 checkmate. So not much. Queen f6, as naive as it is, there is not a lot of comfortable options of stopping this threat.
I love the way you call it naive.
While you do not threaten a checkmate in 1 to somebody who is 2,800 and expect him to blunder it, don't you? Yeah. So knight d3 perhaps? Just okay, defend something, attack something. I'm not very happy to move the knight away from e5, but at least, okay, this is covered. And I was about to say I'm threatening the bishop, which I'm not, because I still cannot take the bishop. Right.
So putting a challenge to his illustrious opponent is Sam Sevian with his last move. And it's a mate threat. He sees it. Don't worry about that. He for sure sees it. And he's just trying to figure out if maybe he has some kind of fantastic response
Queen
that
c2.
just refutes this idea.
Queen
but it doesn't look
c7.
as though he has anything special. So he has to just decide which way he ought to go here. A sharp, sharp position to be sure. So we will keep our eye on that one. It's still in the opening on most of the boards. So I don't see anything super crazy going
D4.
on.
May I suggest a game? I have no idea what the position is, but, the names of the players kind of speak of themselves on board 5. And
Bishop
Dominguez
g4.
versus Hans Niemann, yes.
Versus Hans Niemann, yeah.
Absolutely. I believe they recently played in the U.S. Championship in October. Not sure I remember the result there, but definitely an up-and-coming young player in Hans Niemann who's been showing some very nice results as he's moved up in the world rankings. And he's playing against the veteran Lanier Dominguez. So this is indeed a big-time matchup between two American players. We see
Bishop
that,
F4.
surprisingly, it's Lanier with the massive edge on the clock. Lanier tends to get into time pressure quite a bit, but he must have out-prepared his opponent to get this position, as we see Hans has been sitting now for quite some time.
Right, so it was like, if you guys were curious, it was, I wanted to say something very classical in the Ruy Lopez. It wasn't because there was D2, D3 played, but then later on, it did look like very, very familiar. So white goes D3 and later on D4, but white saves up on rook F1 to E1 move. If we go into detail, so a little bit of kind of respecting each other. Rook E8, knight G5, rook back, knight back, and Hans said, "I'm happy with the draw."
Knight C6.
To which the response was, "I was just kidding." So Lanier was repeated the moves once, but he was never planning to go for a draw. D4, rook C8, B3, D5, and D5, E5, knight E4. Computer likes
D4.
white's position a lot.
D5 is
bishop F4.
either good, equalizing, or not good because you allow this advance of the pawn to the E5 square, gaining a lot of space. But the pawn does get isolated on the other side of the board after the move knight to E4. So he had to play bishop to F4 to defend. And is it black's move now?
Yeah, black's the move.
So there's this challenge, right, of winning the pawn with G5 if you decide to be hyper aggressive. But something must be wrong with it, why he hasn't played it already.
Yeah, so G5, of course, like would be great if I have to move the bishop back and you just take, right? I do not see what exactly is wrong with the move, but computer variation goes like absolutely.
I think it's probably just knight E4, now that I look at it. Maybe.
You may just
and
be...
then drop the bishop back? Is that...
Drop the bishop back, but yeah, but then somehow, like maybe even knight back to C6. I really, if there is a piece for black, I do not like it's a knight on A5.
But aren't you losing the E-pawn in this position if you're not careful with the black pieces?
Yeah, but am I that scared of losing so all I'm saying, like that, these are probably not the greatest moves, but all I'm saying, very often this kind of positions where white is a pawn up and black has, say, the C file or something, are not that dangerous. The bishop on G3 is kind of off, not playing. Black gets the file, black gets in the second rank or something.
Gotcha, I agree with that. Not one of those pawns you would necessarily worry about if you're playing the black pieces. So we're back again. It is Hans' turn to move, and he doesn't look like somebody who's ready to move anytime soon. That's the kind of lazy, lean-back attitude he's got right now. But clearly he is trying to figure out exactly what to do to make some progress here, and he must see the move G5, but he's way behind on the clock. Now, 7 minutes down coming out the opening, and Lanier is just blitzing out these moves. So that one's interesting. By the way, the move Queen F6 in the Eric Geisy game on board 7 did prompt Queen to C2.
Yeah,
in
Queen C2,
back, right? So Eric Geisy with Sam Savian, and when you've mentioned this, and I've seen G5 move, which happened move 8. I thought Eric Geisy was playing with black because this is typically his style of playing. He's playing very aggressive straight from the start. And then, so to do something like that against Erigaisi, it takes courage.
But may I ask am I seeing correctly with the time situation? Does Sam Savian actually does he only have 4 minutes and 55 seconds left? There's no way. Somehow it's 7 minutes. I see something wrong on my screen. So yes, 7 minutes. Nevertheless, he is taking quite a bit of time. And they have made a bunch of moves, so we don't have it updated on our screen. That's what's going on. They've made a number of moves to get to the position they have on the board. The board we have right now is just the mating thread, and we don't have it on the screen at the moment. So let's hope that gets updated quite shortly. All right, let's take a look at some other games which also seem to be very much in the openings. We see the board there, by the way. If I just could look at it, some weaknesses in Black's camp, but maybe not too much for us to worry, for him to worry about. He's still trying to figure out exactly what to do there, though. Long way to go in that game. Could we get back to the Magnus game?
Right, yeah. Well,
Does White have anything in the Magnus game as we go to take a look at that? Look at Magnus's posture. I mean, this guy didn't look like he's playing chess. Whatever, who cares? Let me get up and walk away. Typical Magnus. Hey, I'm not worried about this position whatsoever. I'm going to walk around. I know you got some move. Do what you're going to do.
And I'm afraid here we might as well also be a couple of moves behind, but nothing in comparison to Sam Savian's game. We're just like missing a huge chunk of a game. So
Right.
here,
it looks like rooks have doubled on the H line.
yeah, it's almost like, Black went, say, bishop to d6. That's what it looked from that angle, and then White doubled. Went rook h3, Black done something, White
It looks
went
like Black
rook
played
h1.
rook h7 maybe and doubled as well.
Yeah, but that's definitely very hard to judge the position from this particular camera angle.
Nothing much happening here, and I think both players know it. For Magnus, though, a second draw would be almost like winning two and losing one, right? I mean, he's obviously, it's not the way he would have gotten to 2 points, but he doesn't want to just keep giving away draws.
Right, absolutely. And I think it's very important for him to find a space that he wins few games in a row. And then he's unstoppable. But, it will be a perfect scenario, almost like a dream scenario. Draw with Black, win with White, draw with Black, win with White for anybody else, but not Magnus Carlsen. He is looking for this, like establish the string going, and then he would then proceed to win as many as needed.
Well, we have definitely seen him have maybe a poor day, by his standards, that is. He may only score like 3 out of 5, for example. And then the next day win every game.
Accelerating.
So you never count him out. Because for him, in particular, he gets motivated by any kind of mediocre result. And you don't give him a reason. It's like Michael Jordan back in the day. Say something, please. Just say anything. Diss me in any way. Make me feel disrespected, because that's what's going to wake me up. And this is the kind of player Magnus is. Give him any reason to wake up, and all of a sudden the whole field is thinking, what the heck just happened, as he just starts running over them.
So the worst idea would be to play Magnus after his so-called bad day. So
Absolutely.
The next day, that's definitely not what you want to be doing.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's then leave this board, which is not much going on, and go to board 3. Levon Aronian playing against, and wait, I just saw something pretty sharp happen there, but we'll come back to it. Levon Aronian playing against his former countryman, Zaven Andrasian, as Levon did move to the United States and started a life there. And he has a ton of time on his clock, 12 minutes and 46 seconds. His opponent down to 4:32. This is a rapid game. Black should be reminded that you need to be moving a bit faster.
Right, absolutely. And I do know this type of positions where Black would exchange his light square bishop and say, you know what, your bishop is not that impactful, you lack a bit of space, but the matter of fact is that it's much more, it's much easier to play with White, this type of positions, strangely, especially for the rapid game. So it's some sort of a King's Indian, what you do. So you go h4, the bishop, you probably return it to c1, and so on. So Black has to be very, very careful. He needs to spend time in order to, not to allow any sort of default breaks, because on one hand, you control the space, and usually the more space you have, you want to open up the position. But how do you open up the position if your opponent has a pair of bishops, which are about to come to life? So
okay, but I just saw Black do something with a rook that is impossible on your screen. So I feel like we're also behind on this board as well. So apologize for those technical difficulties, because a rook landed on b2, and it's impossible to happen on this board. So maybe he played b4,
H4.
took on c3, and then In fact, it looks like something like that did happen.
Right, but
Yeah, we're definitely behind on this screen as well because the rook just landed on b2 and we have no view of the board to properly assess exactly what's going on there. So again, apologies for that technical difficulty, and we will try to fix that shortly.
And apparently, I'm sorry to interrupt, but apparently the time display that we are showing is also not the real one. Yes, it's not like on my digital board it was showing Andreasen down to 3 minutes and Levon was on like 13, while in reality I can see Levon is on 9 and Andreasen is on 7 something.
Still pretty bad. Actually,
So-
he's on 3 something, it turns out, not 7. So he is still in a bad situation, but we're not seeing anything from this angle.
Right.
This angle is not really useful whatsoever in helping us see what's on this board. So let's just get away from this screen and try to get another game going that we can actually follow. I'm curious about the Hans Niemann game again, because also I see some crazy time situation on my board.
Updates.
That's no way this is possible, that
No
he's at
updates
54
there.
seconds. So if we can see the actual board itself and get that angle, as we work out some of the kinks of day one, this position looks like he has done quite a few things on the board itself, as we see 2 bishops centralized. So your screen is not representative of what the game is, so we might as well take that off. Let's zoom in on the board action, actually. I think this angle gives us a pretty good chance. We see he did go for the line that I spoke about.
He did go for a very similar line. So he didn't go g5. He immediately started this operation of bailing out with knight to c6, giving up the pawn, and going for this,
Queen
this kind of
F3.
structure.
Right, so we are saying he is indeed down a pawn on the board. You can see that there are 6 white pawns on the board and only 5 black pawns. So Niemann is down a pawn and trying to figure out whether or not he can just keep this position together. But a pawn is a pawn is a pawn. I mean, if anything, it's white that has any chances to win this game, not black. But you had mentioned that you could trade queens, trade bishops, and then put a rook on c2
Yep,
and go for
something
the
like
best.
that. And to be honest, the game just got updated, and I can see computers not impressed by white's play, like at all. And after bishop e4, I presume the suggestion is just trade everything, go rook c2, and it says equal.
Nice. Okay, well,
So
great
pawns do not
assessment.
matter, Maurice, anymore.
They matter. They matter. It's just that piece activity happens to matter more. And so
Yeah.
we do have the current position. And here come the queens dropping off.
Okay,
We
so-
will see the light square bishops follow as well pretty promptly. And there we go. And rook takes. And we will see a rook land on the c2 square more likely than not. Although he is just stopping for a moment to check everything.
Yep.
And there it is. Rook to c2. And black's activity is balancing out the pawn deficit. A monster rook sitting in the position. Let's not overstate it too much, but black does have great piece play and activity that he decided to assess as just fine for him.
Right, so, well, not as depressing as it looked at some point, because I was looking for Dominguez's, say, over here I was looking for Dominguez's possibilities of just crushing on the king side, knight to f5, you know, queen g4, all of that. And Hans, well, very reasonably spent some time, figured out, okay, this one, I'm pawn down, but it should be possible to defend.
Bishop
And
takes
One thing
e4.
I'm thinking, if the queen side pawns kind of liquidated themselves and you're left with 4 versus 3 on a king side, then not much he can do with the bishops on the board or the pure rook endgame. The draw should be achievable for Hans.
I'm going to tell you, a lot of those games I'm looking at, I see nothing major going on in any of the boards. Let's jump to the women's section for a second, please. I'd like to see the top board there, Ju Min-jun, as she is down to 4 minutes and 13 seconds against Irene Sukandar. And it's heating up, actually, that game. Very dynamic and interesting position, as we've seen a queen a1 sighting. One of my favorite moves in chess, to put the queen on a corner square. As we jump over to 44 Wall Street, and this is where the women's
C2.
section is taking place. The 2 tournaments are taking place in different venues, just very close to each other. But look at the time situation.
Rook D2.
3:34 left on the clock for Ju Min-jun, and she is feeling the pressure in this game without any question. That move, Queen A1, a fascinating one.
Queen
What do you
A1
make
is
of this position? As Irene is not
Rook
taking
takes
a lot of time
B7.
at all. She got the memo.
Rook E3.
Play fast. It is rapid chess.
Right, so I can imagine
Rook
she's
takes
a very
b7.
unpleasant opponent in rapid chess because she's very tactical, she plays fast, she keeps pushing, has this like very, very strong energy for specifically for rapid.
She was in Singapore. We worked together. She did a fantastic job, particularly co-hosting or mainly hosting the fan zone. Great personality, one of the most pleasant people you'll meet in all of chess. But vicious on the board, as we see here. She's causing trouble.
Knight d5.
And doing quite well in the tournament. And she's going at it. Knight f4. And now the move a4.
King e7.
a4.
Stopping the obvious b3 push, it seems, that would
But
light up that diagonal. But now knight d5 on the board. Hey. It looked impossible. But look at that. You can't
Knight
capture
d5.
twice on the d5 square. Well, she's captured once,
she
but don't take
counters one.
again, or you'll lose material. Now she's has to drop her queen back. Her queen at the moment is overworked.
Where the queens go? And queen to
Queen
d7.
guarding the a pawn and the bishop. But
Queen
I feel like
b6.
black might be in danger here. Seriously, like this is not looking good.
Like facing now.
Knight takes c6.
He got a winning advantage on number 3. Last game in a Travis question he managed to win. So he played a fundamental losing question. The knight he worked the knight is untouchable. Queen cannot take it because of the queen. Last game,
Bishop c5.
let's see any magic is happening. Since it was both the guys, both of them have only 5 minutes. I mean, he has 5 minutes time and this happened as he has 3 minutes time. This happened as only the 6 minutes time. So
Rook takes d8.
but still the position is ending. The rookie effect should be 6 c4. That simple pin is winning. So it seems like it's completely losing for Dragon.
Rook e5. Rook a d8.
On the other hand, Arjun is playing with slight disadvantage.
King d3.